For the first time in like over 10 years, Sly Cooper has had a steady stream of news. And it's nothing really big any of the time, but it's definitely small wins for the community. Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus is now available on PS5. It is doing really well. People really enjoy that. There's new trophy support. It's a lot of fun for fans that want to get back into the series, and it's been a while. Then we got confirmation that Sly would make an appearance in the new Astrobot game. It is just an appearance and it's just little Easter eggs, but again, we still really haven't seen much of Sly in years, so that's really cool as well. And then just recently, a concept design for a Sly Cooper YouTooz. If you guys don't know what YouTooz is, similar to Funko Pops, just little figures of different series, was recently leaked. And we now know that Sly Cooper is in development as a figure for YouTooz. Now, this concept art that we have here is probably not going to be the final design, but we do have an idea of where they're going to go with it. Just so I make sure that I get my facts straight, I'm going to be reading a little excerpt from thegamer.com and an article that they wrote about this. It states, Kyle Sparks, the director of brand at YouTooz, shared an image of what Sly Cooper's first figure will hopefully look like on social media. Just concept art for now, but Sparks confirmed that this is an official project and the figure is coming and not just a fun idea he's thrown out to the fandom because he's a part of it. Sparks notes that Sly 2 Band of Thieves is his favorite game ever, so turning Sly Cooper into a YouTooz figure is likely something they've been trying to make happen for a while. Right off the bat, I want to say I love this concept art. I know this is not the final design and they'll likely either change it completely or, make some changes to it, but I think it's great. I mean, we generally with Sly Cooper merchandise kind of get the same thing. It's usually Sly like doing a spire jump and just holding his cane, but here he's kind of in action. So this is something that we haven't seen before from Sly Cooper merchandise, where we actually see him swinging his cane and we have a little translucent, I'd say crest, how do I say that? I think crest is the right way to say it. Just the little swing of the cane, we get the motion with it as well with this like translucent piece of plastic. That was kind of a mess, but I hope you get the point that I was trying to make. People have been saying recently, and especially after this announcement right here, that Sly Cooper has made quite a comeback, and we're getting really excited for the future of the series. Now, what I want to say to that is I think this is just good news in general for classic PlayStation fans. I don't think Sly Cooper is anything special. I don't think they're giving it special treatment, and I don't think they have big plans for it in the future, or at least there's nothing pointing me in that direction. What I am getting from all this recent stuff is that I think PlayStation is more in a position where they're willing to make passive income from their old IPs. I think after the PS2, PlayStation as a brand wanted to be seen more as a serious gaming platform. I mean, especially getting into the PS3, hyper-realistic graphics were starting to become very popular, more story-driven games, and the cartoony platformers got to the wayside for a bit. As you know, since about 2017, they've been making a comeback, but I think as we get closer to the point where now we just have photorealistic games, I think those types of games are going to be less and less impressive as time goes on, and also the more expensive they are going to be to make. And now that PlayStation doesn't have to push that envelope as hard, I think they're now in a place where they're more willing to share the limelight with a lot of its different franchises. Now that we're getting to the upper echelons of what gaming consoles are capable of when it comes to graphics, I just don't think they need to prove themselves as hard anymore, and now can change their identity a little bit. This is just what I'm getting from it, because we also know from at the same time frame that we know that a Ratchet and Clank YouTooz is coming as well. We got Sly Cooper on the PS5, we got Daxter on the PS5, and I think Astrobot in general is just an indication that PlayStation is okay for being known for multiple things now. I don't know, it just seems like a little change in branding. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, why not license out your old IPs to make some passive income? It just makes sense, and I think PlayStation's just more willing to do it now. Sly on the PS5, Daxter on the PS5, wasn't that hard to do. Keeps fans interested, it keeps people on the PS5, and overall is pretty cheap for PlayStation. They can make some money along the way. I mean, you have to remember, these are very small things, so I wouldn't be in a position that I could say for sure that PlayStation cares way more about these older IPs, Sly Cooper in particular, but I think we're going to be seeing more Sly Cooper stuff in the future. I just think it's something that they want to do now more often. That doesn't mean new game, but we could definitely be getting more merchandise, more re-releases, stuff of that sort. I think it's becoming more normal now for PlayStation. I mean, Nintendo has been doing this for a very long time on a lot of their consoles. They have a bunch of older games available to play, whether that be via subscription. They used to have a virtual console. They release Amiibo, a bunch of merchandise in general. Nintendo's a powerhouse. PlayStation has been lacking on that. I think this is them trying to throw their hat in the ring and license off some of their stuff, and Sly Cooper just happens to be one of those series that gets affected by this. And like I said earlier, this is just me and my personal thoughts getting in the head of Sony and PlayStation. This does not have to mean they're gearing up for a new game. They're doing things that other companies do all the time, specifically Nintendo. PlayStation is just not really known for this type of thing, or doing it this often. And especially in Sly Cooper's case, it had been years since they did something like this, so people were getting really excited. I would absolutely love to see a new game, something of that sort. I think it's definitely possible, and if it were ever to happen, maybe it would happen now because of all this stuff. But I don't know. Sorry for rambling so much. I've wanted to say something like this, and maybe I said that in my previous couple of news videos, but with this third thing, I think it's solidifying that we're going to be seeing more things like this in the future. More of these small things spread throughout, I think, is just going to become more normal to see. And hopefully Jak and Daxter falls under that, and so does Ratchet & Clank. I know Ratchet & Clank has been kind of culturally relevant and has been getting new games, but for Sly and Jak in general, I just hope this is an indication of things to come. And with all that, I would like to say as well, if we're going to be getting more merchandise like this, if it's going to become more of a normal thing to see Sly Cooper merchandise, I think that also means that it's probably more likely that we start getting merchandise of other characters. Since Sly Cooper merchandise had been so few and far between for a very long time, it makes sense that every time something pops up, whether that be the Stubbins or the Funko Pop, and now the YouTooz, makes sense that it was always just Sly. Because it had been so long since the last release, they really could just release another Sly thing and people would buy it. I think here on out, if we do see more of this in the future, maybe a couple of releases every year, maybe we'll start to get some Bentley and Murray stuff. I would be very excited for that, because while we do have limited Sly Cooper merch, with Sly being the focal point, there's almost like zero Bentley and Murray stuff, and they're almost just as important as Sly is. So hopefully these side characters start getting some love as well, if this becomes more of a normal thing for PlayStation to do with its old IPs. But those are my thoughts. Sorry for rambling so long. Guys, for those of you who have been on the channel for a while, new Coopercast coming soon. I just recorded it with a couple of guests, so if you do like the Coopercasts, definitely stay tuned. Hopefully I'll have that out within the week. And with that being said, everybody, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.